Welcome to Where There's a Will, There's a Play. My name's Ian, and I'm here with another Initial Impressions. This one's going to be a solo one because it's a game that I've just learned solo how to play, and that is the latest from Stonemaier Games, Stamp Swap. Stamp Swap is an I Cut You Choose game that you're collecting stamps and trying to make your best collection of stamps. So let's take a look at the first impressions. And I also did an unboxing of this video or of this game, although the unboxing video got a little goofy with it, and so that is also on the channel. So taking a look at the rule books, two rule books, one for multiplayer and then the solo. Um, really well laid out rule book. I do like that this part right here says if you're going to play solo only, you can skip the rest of this. Although it should say you do need to come back for the scoring and any clarification. But that's just at the end of the game, and it does tell you. I think it tells you in here to do that. So the solo one tells you all the solo steps and everything. Um, as always with Stonemeier's rule books, very well laid out. Um, it has a lot of examples. It tells you what to do. It has a lot of pictures. It shows you all the components, which is nice. And then in the solo, it shows you all the components for the solo, shows you the fronts and backs of all the cards. I really like this intro mode that they had for this game. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But that was the rulebook. And on to setup. The setup for this game was very easy. You take your game board, you put it out, you put the token to show what round it is on there, right here on first day, and you put your player cubes down here on the points, and then you randomly pick a color, a theme, a size, and a canceled stamp scoring criteria, and that's the main board. And then on your player boards, you just take a player board, and then for the solo, they get a player board. There's three different ones that have different goals that they want. So this one was small squares. Um, and then the rest of it is the tiles, and the tiles are all fit nicely into this nice tray. So all you gotta do is take the lid off this, put it to the side, and then you also give each person 3 tickets, and you put some stacks of cards out, a couple different stacks of cards, and that's about it. So the setup for this game was very simple, very quick, and very easy to do. Next, on to the components of the game. The tiles are a really nice tile thickness there, as are your tickets. Um, so really nice. The cards are a nice thickness. The board itself just folds open once, so that's nice. Nice, regular size board. Um, the player board mats, player boards and stuff are, aren't too flimsy. They're pretty decent thickness, card stock there. So those will hold up nicely, I do believe. Um, I am curious as to why Stonemaier chose to go with thinner kind of card stocky player mats rather than a board, but it's really not that big of a deal. You just place your tiles on here, so it's really nice. So those are the components. Oh, and then you have your nice cubes. You have your nice cubes, and then the round marker, nice thick round marker there. So components in this game are really nice as always with Stonemaier. On to the artwork. So the artwork um, comes in a couple places. First of all, you got on the back of this board, you got all these stamps. I think these are the stamps actually in the game. You've also got this really nice, you're at a stamp collecting convention for a weekend, and really nice artwork here on the front showing just a bunch of people talking about stamps and stuff. So I really like that. That's really nice. And but where the artwork really comes in is on the stamps. We'll show you some different stamps here. So you've got some different stamps in, oops, there we go, in 5 different themes and 5 different colors. So there's, let's see, where's my player aid here? You have, so here's the different themes. So you have purple, yellow, blue, green, and brown, which all have a different border around them. And then space, monuments, animals, flowers, vehicles, which all have a different background in them. Okay, a little hard to tell on the picture here, but they do all have different backgrounds. On the smaller stamps, they are some of them are a little hard to see. But you can see here's 2 vehicles, and you can see it's got horizontal lines in the background. They're the same color. They have the same border. What do we got here? We got a monument and space. So you can see the monument is just solid color, and the space has a space scene. The monument is the same color as these vehicles were, so it has the same border. And then the space one has a different border. And then you can see you have vehicles, which have horizontal lines. And I believe that one's also another space one, but different colors, so you can see the different borders in it. Um, let's see. Oh, and then you got these just absolutely gorgeous rare stamps, which have this gold foil. So you can see that gold foil. They're all chocolate bars. So I love that gold foil. That's really nice. Um, oh, here's let's see. Oh, here's flowers. Flowers a little hard to see on camera what the background is. It's um it's hard to see on that one. Let's see if I can find one in a. So here's some bigger ones. So here's an animal. So just some really beautiful artwork done in this. Let's see if I can find a flower here. Probably not. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find a flower. No, but you can see the vehicle, those horizontal lines. Here, the space a little bit better. The space scene in the background. The monument is nice and solid. Here's an animal. And a little tough to see what it is. I think it's shaded in the background. And then flowers have just an it looks like there's like an elaborate design behind it. A little tough to see on the camera, but they do have different backgrounds if to help with the theme. So there are the tiles, or there's the artwork. Like I said, the artwork in these tiles is just absolutely gorgeous to get them onto these small little tiles. Really beautiful artwork here. Yeah, so there is the artwork. Moving on to the gameplay. As I'm picking these up. Like I said, this is an I cut you choose game, which means you are getting a certain number of tiles of stamps here, and then you're splitting them into 2 parts, and you are taking one, and your opponents would take one. Depending on if you're playing multiplayer, it goes to the person you're right, I think, and they would choose what they want. In the solo mode, you have these cards that tell you, and I think in the multiplayer mode you do as well. So you have these cards that tell you what you're taking. So the top line is when the Automa is choosing. They will take those 2 things and they will put them in the large group and a small group. And then the bottom is what, and then you'll take a second card. And on the second card, you use the second line, and that is what you take. And then the Automa is going to evaluate them, appraise them with a step where they put a certain number of appraisal tokens on them, and then you get to keep one of them. So I really like that part of this I cut you choose, because that is not normally part of I cut you choose. Is you get to actually reserve one of the tiles that you've drafted or you've taken, so that you get that one. Now I do like the fact that you can't take one of the rare ones, so the rare ones have to be out there even if it's face down. So you're taking some tiles, your opponent's taking some tiles, and with the solo, the AI then evaluates the tiles they took, and you have to move them around. If one of them has more than, I think it was three or more appraisal tokens, then the other side, then you kind of move them around, and then you get to choose which side you want. You then place them on your player mat. The Automa places them where they go here. I just played on the introductory mode, so I don't know too much about the different sections here, other than I placed them on there. Um, and then on here, like this one, you would get some extra space stamps. We'll talk about that in extra points for space stamps. We'll talk about that in scoring. Um, so you place them on there, and um, you do that for 3 rounds. So you have 3 phases in each round. You have the, see, what do they call them? The clutch phase, the swap phase, and then the show phase. And then at the very, very end, you have the final show, which has some extra scoring in it. So that is the gameplay. Uh, Pretty simple with it. I said you draft some tiles, or you're taking some tiles. I think in the multiplayer there are these event cards like this as well, which tells you what you're taking, and then you're splitting them. So you take some cards or some tiles, you split them, in the solo, the Automa takes them and it tells you how to split them. The Automa evaluates, you take, and then takes from you, then you take from the Automa. And then you place yours on your mat, and the Automa places them on theirs. So that is the gameplay. Moving on to scoring. The scoring in this game is fairly easy. Now, like I said, I did play in the intro mode. So in the intro mode, um, the Pinzetta just scores a certain number of points on level 1. So that was a pretty basic, like, they just score that. Just I got used to how they played. I will play with the actual scoring on level 1 next time, so that I can actually figure out what all these other parts mean on their board. So they're gonna score certain points based on these things, where tiles are. In the intro mode, I didn't we didn't do that. It was just the Pinzetta scores X number of points on level 1, level 2, and level 3. Um, but as they're playing, I did get used to. So as they're playing, when they do their show phase, at the end of your, so I guess going back to the gameplay, at the end when you have the show phase, you choose which one of the four goals you are going to which one of these four goals you're going to score, which is kind of is nice because you get to choose and you can build up to one of them. So with the AI, they will choose based on one of these cards. So there's 4 cards, one for each of them, and depending on what level you're playing on and which card number it is, that's how much they multiply by down here. So I do like that. That's kind of a cool little thing. For humans, the scoring is pretty simple. You earn points during the game um, on the score track, and then you count your forever stamps, and you so you score 10 points if you have the most, 6 if you have the second place, and third for third. And then if you're in a 2-player game or in a solo play, you are playing against an imaginary person who has 3, so that person kind of gets in there as well. And then you get points based on your forever stamps. You also get points based on your stamp values, so that's when you start adding up your points in your stamps. Then, if you have gotten any specialist cards during the game, you get 2 points for each of those. And then there's a final contest card. So at the beginning of the game, you put a final contest card up here, and you score points for that. Mine was 5 points for every 1 by 1 empty space. So I totally spaced that out in the first couple rounds, and or early on, and I was like, oh, I better start thinking about that. And so the scoring in this is very easy to do. It looks like the Optimus scoring is going to also be fairly easy. So scoring, really like it. And that moves me on to my final thoughts. As we've discussed recently in these initial impressions videos, we have been trying to go old school and actually learn games from the rulebook, which I was able to do. Um, The setup was really easy for that. Um, it did take me a little bit to understand exactly what the AI, the Pinzetta, was doing. Um, but once I did, I went, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. It just, for some reason, when I first started, um, I I couldn't wrap my head around it for some reason. But once I did, I was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. It just didn't make sense for some reason at first. But I am very happy that it was a yet another game, and this is probably the most in depth, heaviest game that I've learned recently with from the rulebook. So really enjoy this one. I was very interested in to see how they were going to do an I cut you choose, and I thought it was done very well with the AI. Um, an I cut you choose with solo mode. I thought Optima Factory knocked it out of the park with this one again. I think the Optima in this one, the Pinzetta, works really well with the I cut you choose part. It's very they did a great job. Everything about this game, I love the theme of it was just interesting. It was different. I like to get stuff that is different themed, and this one was very different to me. Um, this one I see sticking around for some time. Stacy might learn it at some point. I'm not sure, but this one definitely is a very easy game to set up and play. It does not take up a lot of space for me. So this one I can put on my desk easily when I'm not gonna plan on filming, and I can put some stuff up here for a while. But yeah, another Stonemaier hit for me. I really like it. It's not too much going on, really. It's just a couple of turns, and you have 3 rounds or 3 days because you're playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday is what it is, and there's 3 steps in each round, and then you get your final scoring round as well. Um, so another good win for, or another good game for me personally, as most Stonemaier ones are. So yeah, and that has been my final thoughts on Stamp Swap. If you have played it, let me know what you think. Like I said, I played it. This is my initial impressions. I've played it once. I will play it again this weekend, and this one could be a weeknight solo game for me. On nights when I come home and maybe Stacy doesn't want to play a game, I could definitely see myself playing this one solo at night. It's very quick setup, very small setup. Not a lot of table space. I could set up and have it set up and play it fairly quickly now that I understand the solo AI on it. And yeah, so I think this one's definitely gonna be a keeper. And there you go. Have you played it? What do you think of it? Have you played it multiplayer, solo? Give me your thoughts on it, and we'll chat about it. If you like this video and want to see more, please hit that subscribe button up above. And if you want to see the rest of our initial impressions videos, you can follow that link. Once again, this has been Where There's a Wills, There's a Play. My name's Ian, and I'll see you next time at the table.